Okay, and welcome back to my office. We're looking at the life of Gideon, and we're studying how he started his public ministry now. Gideon has been visited by the angel of the Lord, and this angel of the Lord has given him his commission, has told him that he would go with Gideon, and that Gideon would strike down the Midianites. But first, there are some things that Gideon has to do. And to begin his public ministry now, Gideon gets another visit from the Lord later that night. We're looking in Judges chapter 6, verse 25, and we'll see that Scripture tells us the same night the Lord said to him, "Take the second bull from your father's herd, the one that's 7 years old, and tear down your father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole beside it." Now, there's a lot in this. First of all, the ox or the bull that he's going to use here to tear down the sacrifice, well, these things were very valuable. In an entire village or community, they might have 2 oxen. And that's going to be used to help plow everybody's field in the whole village, the whole area. So to use one of them for something like this, just to take one of them out of the stables, is taking a risk. And he's going to use it to tear down the altar to Baal. Now, this is significant because, first, it's false worship. Second, it's in his backyard. His dad, apparently, is the priest to Baal, the false priest now in his community. And so he is being commissioned. Very first thing he does, before he drives out the Midianites or whatever, he's got to get things together in his community in terms of worshiping God rightly. So he's going to tear down his father's altar to Baal and then cut down the Asherah pole beside it, or the grove that's there beside it, and build an altar to God. And this is what his commission is. And what he's going to do then is he's going to take the wood from the Asherah pole, he's going to kill the bull, and he's going to sacrifice the bull to God. And so that's his first job, his first commission. And the Bible tells us that he took 10 of his servants and went and did this at night so nobody would see him, so nobody would know what he was doing. But he does it. Even though he's afraid, he does it. And then the next morning, the men of the village come and they do some investigation to find out who did this thing of tearing down the altar to Baal. They find out that it's Gideon. They come to his dad and they say, "Bring out your son. We want to kill him because he's done this thing." Now, his dad, who is the priest to Baal, at least has enough good sense to protect his son and to change his own heart. And so what he says to these people is, "Are you going to plead Baal's cause? Are you trying to save Baal? Whoever fights him shall be put to death by morning. If Baal really is a god, he can defend himself when someone breaks down his altar." So he's using the reasoning, hey, if Baal is worth worshiping and if Baal is worth killing for, well, then let him prove that he's actually worth those things. Let him prove that he is actually alive and a god. And he can take care of my son. He can kill my son if he wants, but you guys can't kill my son. So that day they renamed Gideon Jerub-Baal, saying, "Let Baal contend with him, because he broke down Baal's altar." Now what we're going to see right after this is now his first step in his public ministry. He is bringing revival to his village. And once that happens, once people's hearts are changed at all, and they're starting to refocus on the worship of Jehovah, the worship of Yahweh, then Midian's going to rally everybody together and go after the Midianites. And these same people who had wanted to kill him are going to be the first ones to line up and be willing to fight with him. It's quite a thought, and it's something that's important for us to understand. Remember, the main principle is, before you do your public ministry for God, you want to make sure that you've had that private, personal encounter with God, so you know he's actually the one sending you. He's the one who's commissioned you. He's the one who will strengthen you in that mission. And then help people to get their relationship with God back on the right track before you try to do something great in a community or for your country on behalf of God. Well, this is Pastor Doug Cowan. Thanks for joining us this day.